that the 3 tenders have been terminated, and we gave the reasons. By the time this report was being prepared, we had not submitted the report to the authority, and a copy of the reports are here, maybe for your review if you want. The 7 tenders were awarded and acceptance letters were received to the effect. It's only unfortunate that in this report they were not attached, but being a custodian of law, Mr. Speaker, you know that we could not enter into contract with a contractor if he has not accepted our offer. So if you give us time, we'll produce the acceptance letters. The performance bonds are there. We asked for 10% performance bond or 10% of the contract sum performance bond. Yeah, I think I've dealt with the procurement issues that you raised. Thank you.
I've seen a number of members, but before you just have a seat, before you give to somebody else, you are presented that the evaluation process took place between 15th and 24th of July, 2024. What happened between 24th of July 2024 and the 26th? One of them is the standstill period. So what else happened?
Thank you, Chair. Evaluation ended on 24th. That is when the evaluation committee submitted the report for professional opinion. So on 25th, professional opinion was done. I did the professional opinion and forwarded to the chief officer to communicate the notification of intention to award.
Yes, sir. Chief Officer, I'm seeing you.
I just want to have a rejoinder. Mr. Speaker and the honorable members, you are aware there was a bit of disorganization around our establishment in terms of transfers. And the transfers took place, I think, towards the end of June, these dates mentioning, because I remember signing the awards when I was only 2 days within the office. So within that movement process, and people were given a short notice to move within their departments, it could have created some delay. So the dates between 25th, let's say, and the 26th of August, there were a bit of issues of movements of staff within the executive. Thank you.
I go Honorable Jagongo, then Honorable Nerea, then Honorable Akwach. Okay, I'm coming. Start.
So Speaker, my concern is on the classification of these projects into lots. I would want to know what prompted the department to classify the projects under lots. Because in lots, the projects are between 3 to 5 projects in one lot. And when you are doing tendering, you tender the lot to an individual contractor. And what if the contractor fails to complete all the projects under that lot? Maybe he does only 2 projects or 3 projects and leave the rest. And remember, this project belongs to different wards. Maybe in lot 1, there are 5 projects in 5 different wards. And the contractor only completes maybe 2 in 2 wards or 3 in 3 wards and leave the rest. How will you handle the ones that have not been done with the contractor? And how will you pay the contractor? Will he be paid for the ones that he has done and forget about the others? How will they handle? And what prompted the department to put them into lots instead of maybe giving individual projects to individual contractors? Thank you.
I think what he's asking is, did you have a procurement plan for these projects? Because I'm aware that in the procurement plan, those things appears there. The timing, the methods of procurement, how you lot them or something. So,
because Mr. Speaker, you can remember we had a similar issue in the education department where almost all the projects for Kisumu West were not done because of the issue of the lots.
yeah, I was just trying to help and say that he's talking about the procurement plan. Are you able to present your procurement plan? What prompted you to go into the same? I think it's also the question. Honorable Nerea?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've heard the department say that there are 2 lots that were not awarded because the user department changed scopes, and another one attracted no bids. So for the 2 that the user department changed scopes, is it the role of the procurement to decide to give or not to give when the user department changes scope? For example, Mr. Speaker, when you decide to buy a V8, you propose to buy a V8, and then along the way you say, no, I want a Raptor. So is it the role of the procurement to decide for you now, you wanted a V8, now you're proposing a Raptor, we are not going to award this? That is one. Number 2, did they issue any regret letters to those bidders? Within which period? And number 3, I've had the chief officer cite transfers within intra-departmental transfers as a reason for the delays, but his department, my brother cited a different reason. So why is the department giving us 2 different reasons for the cause of the delays? And I asked earlier, and I didn't hear the procurement guy respond, why the 2 lots that are nearing completion had special consideration, that they were advertised in April, awarded in May. And these other ones now come to get advertised in August and awards done in September. What was the special consideration about?
The last question, I did give direction that the procurement guy may not be in a position to answer, because the procurement guy only procures what he has been advised. But we'll have the user department to tell us why. So, Waziri, maybe your department should tell us why. There, we can excuse the procurement guy, because his work is to procure what he has been told. But the users should be able to tell us, even including even change of scope. Does it mean that you did poor planning? Why do you change scope by the time they are almost doing evaluation? So that one should be answered by your department. Rakwach?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, my questions will not be very much different from my sister.
If they're not different, forget about them. We get somebody who has different ones.
No,
Honorable
I've said
Basso.
not very different.
Honorable Basso, let's give Honorable Basso. Can you have a different question? I don't want to go to the same questions. Honorable Basso.
Mr. Speaker, mine is just a request to you, so that we can keep track of the question being answered by the executive. So I think they should answer after every 2 questions from the members. They should answer, so that we can keep trace and we be at par with them. Thank you.
Yeah. I give the first 3 before I go to the other ones. But I think his concern is right. We don't give so much questions. Honorable Lumumba, you're the last person. Then the next lot I come to you, Did.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to reinforce what my colleague has just
said. We want different things. So if it's the same thing, I want to save on time. So if it's the same thing, we give somebody else.
Or just to clarify, I'm particularly going to this, the page is not numbered, but it is minute number 807 to 24. Chairman, while these tenders were put into lots, it is not very easy to tell in this lot what did company A or B quoted for item 2, 3, or 4. What we are given here is the result, the end result of the winner or the loser. This thing might turn out to be a scandal where you will end up finding that you are bought, like it happened somewhere, that a wheelbarrow was bought for 1 million. Here is a case where we have solar irrigation pump. I believe the solar irrigation pump was also quoted by others differently. Then there is also GCOS, and there is also chicken. It could not happen, but one particular contractor won or quoted the same. There could have been another tender, and then a tenderer quoted more or less. So tallying could have been different, but you find all these items have been won by one at 7,900,000. In this particular tender, I know where one item was budgeted for 1 million, and out of 1 million, they have purchased 600 chicks, and 1 day chick in the market rate is 100 bob, and they have purchased 600 chicks, which is a total of 60,000 shillings. Mr. Speaker, at the tail end, it will appear that one chick would cost us even 500, and it turned out to be a scandal. It is not proper. It would have been that each and every item be looked into its own merit and not balkanize it. This is a way of scandal or swindling the public money. I know it is in my ward that chicks are being purchased, 600 chicks being purchased at 60, at 1 million rather. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to take that one as a comment because I'm looking at this. The reason why we are here, we are mostly on delay. In the delay, but let's take it as an observation. I know that when projects are put into lots, then it's the responsibility of the contractor to look at the whole lot. We don't know where he saves and where he loses. But I know the question that concerns him is that when you are making payment and the request for fast payment, and he had front-loaded his money and then he disappears because the remaining things do not make sense to him. I know that's the concern of Honorable Mumba. But on what I know is that once you have been given a contract, the financial evaluation is based on the least responsible evaluated bidder. You are not just given as the least bidder, but you must also be the most responsible. If I'm right, the program guys are here to help. But I take it as an observation that it can occur, especially given the right that you can ask for part payment. And you're asking for part payment on where you've loaded your money, and then you disappear. And then the project is stalled. It relates to what Honorable Jagongo was saying. I've got 4 projects, one iko na pesa, ingine haina. I deal with the one that has money and I disappear and I ask for part payment. We proceed. Can I give you to respond? There are 2 questions here, Honorable Jagongo. There are 3 actually. 3 from Honorable Nerea. Jagongo is actually a concern, the lotting, but you can ask what led to the lotting. Then you can give maybe observation of what Honorable Mumba says. 3 minutes can be enough for you. Then I take the next lot. Waziri.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, there are three issues here. The first one is on the clusters. Honorable Chair, I want to report that there was a concern from the National Coordination Office for FLOCA. And I have to admit it, on the nature of projects that were chosen in Kisumu. There was a concern regarding the size of those projects and what they communicated, even to the top office, that we need to focus on impactful projects. So when there was a discussion, which was brought to our attention as the executive, there was a very comprehensive discussion, because by that time, the coordinator had sent the list of projects which had been identified by the committees to the Nairobi office. So following that review, there was a concern. Thereafter, a meeting was called, and it was a very broad consultation process following the advice from the coordination office that it's important that FLOCA projects are cutting across, or rather the impact should be across wards. There should be cross-ward projects and they should be big projects. Now that the committees, because the World Bank regulations are very clear, it was decided that we cluster the projects so that there is proper management, there is more effective management, other than having the small projects in each and every ward. So this was an executive decision, Chairman.
Waziri, let me just help you. Just switch off your microphone. I'm getting to you. If I have got 3 projects, one in Northwest Kisumu, which is supply of chicken, and I have another one in Gabonyo Kanyagwal, which is maybe something maybe on fingerlings, and another one in East Seme of almost the same nature. So when you give them one person, how is that impactful? Are they just the same projects in East Seme, Northwest, and Nyakach? Or did I not get understand very well the meaning of impactful projects?
Speaker, just on the same, when we are doing identification of these projects, I think the department always takes the lead in identifying this project. Why do they allow an impactful project to be identified by the wards? Why do you allow for fingerlings, or why do you allow for the chicks to be identified in a ward if you know it's not impactful?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, Chair. Chair, Waziri is on record repeating the same thing again. And I asked Waziri when we had a meeting here last time around on April. And I asked Waziri, where is this communication? Because if you are giving us a statement, you need to part with the communication from the coordinators from the headquarters, Mr. Chair. So Waziri is repeating the same again, and she cannot produce a communication on the same Chair.
Honorable Melis, is it not the same? Is it not the same? Oh, if it's slightly, then you just keep it. You'll ask once we are through with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. So what happened with the legal technical person to respond also on the particular one was that the local coordination office decided to categorize them. So you'd find the one for environment, the one for, so that also. But allow me for Bernard to just add on to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The question about the lotting that was done. If you look at the lotting that was done, we have like lot 1, F. F means a flagship project, which is a standalone, and as you know, the Honorable Governor had specific project that are supposed to be showcased and have a bigger impact to the people. So the lots with F means flagship. And then as you're aware, FLOCA means financing locally led climate options. Now, you know very well that FLOCA, we have a percentage that's supposed to go to agriculture, a percentage that's supposed to go to environment.
I think the question was very straightforward. The reason why you clustered, I was expecting something maybe you want to maximize resources in terms of management and the rest. Because for you guys doing this project, there's no clustering. Ombabe is doing this, there's no clustering. So you should give us some good reasons and not what you are talking about.
Yes, please, Honorable Speaker. The reason behind the clustering is for ease of management and also execution. Like if it's an environment project, we lot them together so that they can be done with the condition for an environmental project. Like if you go to the requirement, it will be different with a project that is going to be like agriculture. So it is for ease of management and also for the criteria to be followed.
Chair, the decision was made where?
Okay, I agree. What he's saying is making sense. But you know, when you say it's impact from the rest. But you are talking about ease of management. Now, 3 projects were taken to review. Not 3 projects, 3 lots. And in each lot, there are more than 4 projects. You are talking about 12 projects. All of them cannot proceed. Is there anything you're achieving?
Chair, again, you asked whether that was part of the original procurement plan.
Yeah, that's about program plan. I think maybe they will present.
No, what is answering, you had asked earlier whether that was part of the original procurement plan, and can they share that
Director,
procurement plan?
Was it in the plan?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We shared a procurement plan for all the projects. And then the procurement plan itself and the lotting are related. Like if we are doing what we have explained.
Director, the procurement plan that you presented had lots.
No, they were individual projects.
Thank you. At what time did you change?
There are no changes, Honorable Speaker, but the execution.
Director, you are not going as per your procurement plan.
We are going, no, we are going according to the plan. We have 39 projects which were supposed to be done at a particular time.
Director, you know we want to maximize on time. The question was very simple. We asked you if that was your procurement plan, and you said there was no lotting in the procurement plan. So the resolution or the answer is you are not going as per the procurement plan. Can we get more time so that we answer the other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to agree with what part of what you said at last, but add that lotting is basically done generally for efficiency. And you, Mr. Chairman, you observed that if you have 30-something projects and you're going to procure them, the amount of time you're going to take, because the procurement process does not change much in terms of the method of procurement. So even the formation of evaluation committees, you have to ask yourself, do I have enough staff to form 32 evaluation committees to look at the projects? So it saves time to bundle them, reduce the number of committees that you are going to form, but more importantly, also reduce the number of contracts that you are going to enter into, because contract supervision also requires time. And Mr. Chairman, it could be true that in some cases where lotting has been tried, it may have failed, but I don't think that could be a reason enough to say that lotting versus, say, single project procurement, that the other one is better than the other. I think we're still trying to find what are the advantages of one, disadvantages of the other. So for us, at least from the view of the county treasury, is that if you want to procure efficiently, cut down on time. Because you can imagine, this department, as you can see, those are the technical people, and they have to be in every procurement committee. So there are 32 people, 32 committees, or 20-something committees in which these guys have to spend their time. It's not feasible. It's not feasible. The other question that was asked, Mr. Chairman, is with regard to communication. Who said this? And especially when my colleague referred to the national office. I said, Mr. Chairman, that something unique about FLOCA, as opposed to the other conditional grants, is that it is actually coordinated from the National Treasury, not from the National Ministry of Environment and Water. And Mr. Chairman, it is important to realize that there is not just one way of communicating decisions, such as this one. I think the honourable member's question would be based on the assumption that there ought to have been a letter. This program implementation activities happen from time to time. There are meetings, there are workshops, and so on. And not all decisions or advisories given to counties in terms of implementation models are done in letters. Many of them come up during workshops, many of them come up during trainings. In fact, Mr. Chairman, if I were just to add, one of the reasons actually why projects delay, implementation of projects delay, not just in FLOCA, but in many donor-funded projects, including those in sectors like agriculture, urban development, and others. One of the reasons why implementation delays is these workshops and trainings. I think my colleagues did not admit. And we have raised this matter with the National Treasury, and particularly with the donor agencies. You cannot give us a project to implement as a county and then take the people who are supposed to implement that project on weekly trainings in Eldoret, in Naivasha, in Nairobi, and so on. So during these trainings, during these workshops, advisories such as lotting could be made, and they do not necessarily have to come in the form of a letter, unless somebody now looks at a report and so on and so forth. But we could be guided, and I think this is important, Mr. Chairman, because some of us at the Treasury believe that perhaps the lotting could be extended to other areas, but we could be wrong. So we'll be willing to hear.
Before I give you a question, was it now that you have responded, and it's like you are aware the coordination from national? Can you also touch on the two projects that are complete? Yeah, I see you have a lot of information, so tell us about the two projects that are complete.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that I have as much information as you imagine I have, but let me say that as far as we know, again, that the implementation of FLOCA is being done in stages, and that it was not envisaged that there was going to be one tender in a financial year for all the projects. I think decisions on sequencing, not necessarily, maybe not prioritization, because I think it's coming out as if the earlier projects were of a higher priority than the others. I think the sequencing could have been based on something completely different, maybe the ready availability of land, because there are pre-implementation issues. Some projects have even land issues, I imagine.
Waziri,
Yeah.
those issues, what we need to understand,
Yeah.
what is it that led to those two projects being prioritized?
The way we understand it at the Treasury, and my colleagues will confirm, is that those who are ready for implementation, because projects in a project menu are at different level of readiness. So those, as far as we are concerned, were ready for implementation because all the boxes had been checked. Land, this, others may not have been ready.
Can I give priority to those who have not asked a question? Because I'm seeing time is going. I agree, but I've given you a chance, and even they have not completed answering your questions. There are still 2 more pending on your questions. So can I give priority to those who have not asked?
Chair, mine has not been answered.
I'm aware. He asked about some tendering. We have marked it. Waziri, can you complete the remaining 2 sections on what Honorable Narea asked about, and then she's asking which one, the last one?
Chair, I asked about the 3 projects, the 3 lots that have been advertised. I've asked as to whether it was in the
report.
No, the report. No. Why did the procurement department decide not to award just because the user department changed the scope? Was it in their mandate? And if they decided to not to award, did they give regret letters to those that bid? But a rejoinder, so that I don't come back again, I've heard that lotting is a good way of, managing projects so that you don't have to deal with so many other things. I just want to ask if, I know that the CC Finance knows, how many projects did we have in the just concluded financial year under award-based projects? Where did they think of